This is the third video on the anatomy and physiology of brain. In the previous videos, we learnt about the cerebral lobes and their functions. In this video, we will look into the details of the diencephalon, which is also part of the forebrain. The thalamus and hypothalamus are key structures within the brain, named together as diencephalon. Both structures work together in emotional and cognitive regulations, bridging sensory and motor pathways with behavioral responses. The thalamus acts as a relay station for sensory and motor signals to the cerebral cortex, whereas the hypothalamus regulates homeostasis, controlling hunger, thirst, body temperature, and circadian rhythm. It also links the nervous system to the endocrine system via pituitary gland. Thalamus. These are two egg-shaped structures, one on the right side and the other on the left, located deep in the brain on either side of the third ventricle, composed of multiple nuclei which are functionally specialized, divided into anterior, medial and lateral groups by the internal medullary lamina, a Y-shaped structure of white matter. Functions of thalamus. Number 1, sensory relay. All sensory input except for olfaction passes through the thalamus before reaching the cerebral cortex. Examples: touch, pain, temperature, auditory and visual signals. The olfactory signals do not reach the thalamus directly but reach it through the amygdaloid complex. Number 2, it connects motor signals between the cerebellum, basal ganglia and motor cortex and integrates motor activity. Number 3, thalamus plays a crucial role in the regulation of consciousness and alertness. Number 4, control over emotional and cognitive functioning. It integrates sensory and emotional information for decision making and behavior. In this slide, you can see the schematic diagram of the thalamus with its connections to various parts of the brain, showing its complex integration and functioning. Here, different nuclei are shown by an illustration and their specialized functions are mentioned. Subdivisions and key nuclei of thalamus include: number 1, the anterior group connects to the limbic system, including the cingulate gyrus involved in memory and emotion. Number 2, medial group connects to the prefrontal cortex, includes the mediodorsal nucleus, which plays a role in emotional regulation, cognition and decision making. Number 3, lateral group comprises ventral and dorsal tier. Ventral tier contains the ventral posterior nucleus for sensory relay for the body and face, ventral lateral nucleus for motor coordination and ventral anterior nucleus for motor planning. The dorsal tier includes the lateral dorsal nucleus and lateral posterior nucleus involved in sensory integration and spatial attention. Number 4, pulvinar, largest nucleus involved in visual processing and attention. Number 5, intralaminar nuclei play a role in arousal and consciousness. Number 6, reticular nucleus that acts as a gatekeeper for sensory input, modulating thalamic activity. Hypothalamus lies below the thalamus, forming the floor and part of the walls of the third ventricle, connected to the pituitary gland via the infundibulum, composed of several nuclei, extensive connections with the autonomic nervous system, endocrine system and limbic system. Hypothalamic nuclei and their functions. The hypothalamus contains several nuclei, each with distinct functions. Number 1, paraventricular nucleus, located near the third ventricle, regulates the autonomic nervous system, stress and metabolism. Produces oxytocin and little amount of vasopressin, hormones responsible for water retention, milk ejection and uterine contraction. Number 2, supra-optic nucleus, found in the anterior region of the hypothalamus. It produces vasopressin, which aids in water balance and blood pressure regulation. Number 3, arcuate nucleus, involved in metabolic regulation by releasing neuropeptides and growth hormone releasing hormone, which affect appetite and energy balance. Number 4, preoptic nucleus, plays a role in eating habits, reproduction and thermoregulation. Number 5, medial preoptic nucleus, associated with cardiovascular control in response to stress. Number 6, suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is the body's master clock, regulating daily circadian rhythms. Number 7, anterior hypothalamic nucleus collaborates with the preoptic nucleus in thermoregulation. Pituitary interactions with hypothalamus. The hypothalamus secretes releasing and inhibiting hormones that control the anterior pituitary, for example, growth hormone releasing hormone. The mammillary bodies. The mammillary bodies are part of the hypothalamus. These play a crucial role in memory. Their primary functions include number 1, memory processing. They are involved in the formation and recall of memories, especially spatial memory. They are key components of the Papez circuit, which is essential for linking sensory input with emotional and memory related responses. Number 2, connection to the limbic system. Mammillary bodies act as relay stations transmitting information from the hippocampus via the fornix to the anterior thalamus. This pathway is crucial for episodic memory. Number 3, role in learning. Damage to the mammillary bodies can result in memory deficits, such as those seen in Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, which is associated with thiamine deficiency. Number 4, autonomic and behavioral regulation. They also contribute to regulating autonomic functions and behaviors linked to memory and emotions. This is all for today. In the upcoming video, we will learn about the midbrain and hindbrain. Thank you for watching. Do like and share the video and subscribe the channel to learn more.